Alert now, we have new reaction this hour from the congressman at the center of a new attack on the Tea Party. Indiana Democrat Andre Carson is a leading member of the Congressional Black Caucus. And during a town hall meeting in South Florida about a week ago, the remarks just coming to light, he made some inflammatory comments about Republicans and the Tea Party. We're going to play that for you now.
We have seen change in Congress. With the Congresswoman Wilson's point, the Tea Party is stopping that change. And this is beyond symbolic change. This is the effort that we're seeing of Jim Crow. Some of these folks in Congress right now would love to see us as second-class citizens. Some of them in Congress right now under this Tea Party movement would love to see you and me, I'm sorry, Tamron, hanging on a tree. Some of them right now in Congress are comfortable with where we were 50 and 60 years ago, but it's a new day with a black president and a congressional black caucus really going to help conservative dreams.
David Webb is host of The David Webb Show on Sirius XM Patriot, also co-founder of Tea Party 365. We need to mention that we invited Congressman Carson to join us here. His office said he could not make it. David, I want to keep this in the right perspective. I don't think it's a laughing matter. I think those are serious comments he made. But I want your reaction to what he said.
It's hard for me to keep it in perspective because, let's face it, I'm human. And I'm angry. I'm angry because of what is going on with the race baiting and the actions of elected officials, which is frankly disgusting as an American, regardless of party. But Congressman Carson has taken this to a new level with a false charge of racism, which is in fact itself racist. And what he has done is put this in context of what I've been saying for months now, if not years, that this racism that's being hurled by the left is being thrown as a left versus right, not just black and white, but within the black community, it is being used to cobble them together, keep them where they are out of fear, rather than helping the black community, as the Congressional Black Caucus claims to do. And these actions, Megan, I got to tell you, it takes a lot to hold back, because I want to let loose. The radio guy in me wants to come out and let loose, but that would be wrong and disrespectful.
Is it coordinated, do you think? Because now last week we saw Maxine Waters come out and said the Tea Party can go straight to hell. Then we saw Federica Wilson come out and say the real enemy is the Tea Party. Then we saw Jesse Jackson come out and say that the Tea Party should be called the Fort Sumter Tea Party that sought to maintain states' rights and slavery. Now we have Congressman Carson coming out and saying the Tea Party would love to see, some in Congress right now, the Tea Party would love to see you and me hanging on a tree. I mean, it seems to be getting more and more incendiary.
It is coordinated. And think about this. He's speaking about his fellow congressmen and women and American citizens, millions in the Tea Party movement who have come out on policy. So he's insulting both Congress and American citizens, both one and the same. Beyond that, the president of the United States, Barack Obama, is in a position. He's had this opportunity. He has won again. He had it after Tucson with the Gabby Giffords shooting, called for civility. Is this the new civility, President Obama? And the fact that what we have now is a coordinated attack against Americans. The president's the leader of the party. And as a leader, he has a responsibility. As a Tea Party leader, I have a responsibility if someone comes out, and you have seen me do that and many other leaders around the country when someone who claims to be part of the movement does something wrong. So the president has a teachable moment again, and I am extending, if you'll let me, this invitation to Congressman Carson to come on my show in full context to the American audience at any time. We will sit down and discuss this live. And I'm offering that to him because he's got to make his case. I'm going to take a Megyn Kelly phrase, make his case.
We invited the congressman to come on, as I mentioned, and then we reached out to his office for a statement. They are standing by the remarks. The congressman is standing by the remarks, saying in part, he gave us a very long statement, but this is it in part. He believes that members of the Tea Party are ones that are standing in the way. He used the strong language because he believes that the agenda jeopardizes the most vulnerable. And he goes on from there talking about how the Tea Party protects its millionaire and oil company friends and is gutting crucial services they know protect African Americans and other minority groups.
Not even close. You don't excuse not outrageous, but racist informed behavior by a congressman by giving that kind of statement. They're playing to their base. And let me be very clear about this, because this is not rumblings. These are facts. They need to keep that base coalesced. Barack Obama is losing the independents. The blacks have a 40% unemployment rate. You have people who are starting to cry out what's going on. You have a situation where Tom Joyner and Cornel West, now we come at this from different lanes when they question the president's policies, how they affect the black community. But because they did that with the poverty tour, Steve Harvey called them Uncle Tom. See what's going on here, Megan? It's no longer about just racist behavior, racism. It's right versus left. It's the progressives.
But let me challenge you on that. Let me challenge you. I mean, I don't think anybody, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think anybody's going to excuse that kind of language to say that Tea Party members want to see black congressmen and black citizens hanging on a tree. But I think to try to get to the point he was making, you mentioned the unemployment rate with African Americans. It's at 15.9% now. That is 75% greater than the national average. It is up 25% from when Barack Obama took office. Okay, so the unemployment within the African American community is higher than the national average, and blacks are feeling the effect of this economy even more so than other races. So might he have inarticulately tried to espouse a concern that is legitimate, that Tea Party policies of being more austere are hurting African Americans in a real way?
What really helps, and by the way, if blacks in this country really want to take a look at Republican and Democrat parties, Libertarian and the others, the Tea Party most reflects what has been good for this country. When government steps out of the way, lets the free market work, does regulate, does provide a framework, as it should as a government, and let the individual achieve. When you have a good family structure, a good education, it leads to better economic empowerment. This is the split, by the way, that I am now part of in the, if you want to call it, and I'm a part of the American community. But within the black community right now, you have coming out of the 80s graduates, a college-educated crowd that has raised a group of children not in urban environments. And they see this running away from them. And the looming irrelevance of these so-called leaders who are only interested in keeping blacks locked in step. And why is any one group, ethnicity, no matter what, a monolithic voting bloc for any party?
But it's interesting to hear your perspective that this marginalizes African Americans, not so much marginalizes Tea Partiers.
Exactly.
Because I hadn't considered that. I mean, it seems on its face an attempt to marginalize Tea Partiers by tagging them with the racist label, by suggesting if you go and join that group, we members of the Congressional Black Caucus and others are going to perceive you as someone who wants to, quote, hang us on a tree. Might that have the effect? Might it have that effect with would-be Tea Party advocates?
It will have some of that effect. Where it has a larger effect is, I made a choice. And we all as Americans have made a choice of our affiliations. But isn't it amazing, Megan, that the group that claims to be most for your choice tells you what your choice should be? Blacks who have joined the Tea Party movement, Hispanics, whatever, they've made a choice. And we don't want to limit their choice. What we want is a limited and efficient government that lets us work and lets the American free market system grow. That helps the black community. Flight of jobs from the urban areas, crime-ridden areas like Detroit, Michigan, Camden, New Jersey, areas where education and crime are at ridiculous levels, highs and lows respectively.
Can this be turned around? Why can't we just have an honest debate? Why can't we just say, why can't, Congressman Carson come out and say, I got real disagreements with the Tea Party, and these are the merits of those disagreements, without taking it to this level? How did we wind up here? Because
they have no policy to offer that has worked. We have seen the failure of stimulus. We have seen the outcry that's coming from the youth, by the way, predominantly black teens and young people all across this country. They're looking at upward mobility. And when they see no or less chance of that, they start questioning the people that are telling them, we're here for you. And there really is this split in the CBC's view of the black community. They're fighting that, and they need everybody to get lockstep. And let me tell you, for the black community, please think for yourselves. You're Americans first. Consider your options. Look at what works. David Webb, thank you very much for being here. And we re-extend our invitation to Congressman Carson to come on this broadcast and speak to those remarks himself.